Welcome back to 6 and 6, where we cover 6 stories from around the world in 6 minutes or less. With that said, start your timer. We begin today in Brazil, where Bayer has developed a new soybean seed targeted for Brazilian farmers, scheduled for market to release at the end of 2025. The innovative seed is designed to improve agricultural yields, offer disease and plague resistance, and address challenges related to climate change and food security. This strategic move aims to help strengthen Bayer's position in the competitive global agriculture market, particularly in Brazil, which is a major soybean producer. From Reuters, quote, Bayer's new soybean variety will empower farmers to optimize their operations and ensure higher crop yields, thus firmly establishing Bayer's commitment to advancing agricultural progress, end quote. And that quote comes from a Bayer corporate executive. Next, we travel across the Atlantic to Portugal, where they have called for peace and an end to violence in the Guiné-Bissau during a disputed parliamentary election. The ongoing vote counting process has been marked by high tensions with concerns about potential regional destabilization. As a former colonial power, Portugal is particularly invested in ensuring democratic processes are respected and peaceful resolution is achieved. From Reuters, quote, Portugal is deeply concerned about the recent outbreak of violence that has been reported during the vote counting process in Guinea-Bissau. The international community is paying close attention to the developments, and there is an urgent call for all parties involved to respect democratic processes and maintain peace, end quote. Next, we travel back across the Atlantic, where the Canadian government has announced comprehensive support measures for its steel and lumber industries, which have been negatively impacted by international tariffs. These initiatives aim to stabilize domestic sectors and maintain their global competitiveness through potential financial aid and strategic trade policy adjustments. The government is demonstrating a strong commitment to protecting these critical economic sectors during ongoing international economic challenges. From Reuters, quote, as we've seen over the past few years, tariffs imposed by other countries have had a substantial impact on our steel and lumber sectors. Our goal is to ensure a level playing field for Canadian businesses and workers, and we're committed to taking whatever actions are necessary to achieve this, end quote. A devastating fire erupted in an apartment building. We now travel across the world to Asia, where a devastating fire has erupted in an apartment building in Hong Kong's Taupo district, resulting in 4 fatalities and multiple injuries. Emergency services quickly responded to the early morning blaze that swept through several floors of the residential building. Authorities are currently investigating the fire's cause, and local community members have established temporary shelter for displaced residents. Several injured individuals are receiving treatment at local hospitals. From Reuters, quote, the early morning fire in Hong Kong's Taupo district underscores the challenges faced by densely populated urban areas during emergencies. Rescue teams managed to save dozens of people trapped inside, though unfortunately some succumbed to smoke inhalation and burn injuries. The investigators are now focused on establishing the origins of the fire, looking into reports of possibly faulty electrical wiring or negligence, end quote. Next, we travel south to Australia, where financial regulators are introducing new measures to manage risk associated with highly leveraged home loans. Starting in February, RA will cap new home loans where borrowers' debt exceeds 6 times of their income. This proactive step aims to ensure financial stability by curbing high-risk lending practices in Australia's escalating housing market. The regulation addresses concerns about potential household vulnerability during changing economic conditions. From Reuters, without constraints, the increasing household debt, especially in the environment of changing economic conditions, will potentially lead to interest rates hikes and could be a significant burden, the APRA representative said, end quote. And lastly, we travel around the world to Britain, where the opposition Labour Party, led by Shadow Finance Minister Rachel Reeves, is preparing a tax-heavy budget for 2026 aimed at bolstering public services and reducing economic inequality. The proposed strategy involves raising taxes on large corporations and wealthy individuals to fund increased spending on healthcare, education, and infrastructure. From Reuters, quote, we understand the need to reassure markets, and we're committed to a responsible fiscal policy that balances the need for investment with significant significant revenue generation. Our proposals are based on the principle that a thriving society has a foundation of a robust economy. Investing in people leads to sustainable growth, and the returns will become evident as public trust translates into economic dynamism, end quote. And of course, if you want to read any of today's articles, you can find all of them linked in the description below that like and subscribe button. Also down there, you can find the podcast on Spotify, Pocket Cast, Podvine, as well as the Twitter handle @YourDailyFlip, where I post the links to these episodes on Tuesday and Thursday, and the normal podcast that comes out on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So, with all that said, there's only one more thing to say. Stay safe, don't die.